Hey, I'm Skaxdad, and you're watching Define the Line.
We got our guest Jacob, aka Skaxdad, over here, the bassist extraordinaire. You're playing three bands, right? Or
Yeah, right now, yeah.
nice. So he's in Young Costello and the Lost Project, or not the Lost Project? Is it the
Yeah,
Lost? Yeah. Okay, I was about to say.
yeah, Young Costello, Lost Project, and the Skajects, kind of the same band.
Hmm.
And then Holy Shnikes is another project I have with the dude from California, Mike
That
Alvarez.
that's you too. I thought that was
Yeah,
like I didn't know that was like your project.
yeah, just me and this dude Mike. And I really just do bass and sing on some songs, but Mike's like the mastermind and composes everything and all of our covers and stuff.
That's cool. So the ska community is pretty tight knit. Like you guys take care of each other and shit, even out of state and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially I feel like this new wave of bands and musicians really got tight during COVID. Like a
mm.
lot of us, we didn't have things to do, work from home or whatever, so like Twitter, like ska Twitter was popping, which eventually moved to like Discord and YouTube and stuff. So yeah, I think we really made a lot of connections during COVID and using social media.
That's tight. Yeah, we got Jacob here. We're gonna be talking about some ska. Ska is like one of my guilty pleasures. I love that genre for what it's just such a positive, good time. And
I had pizza for the occasion.
it's like just because. So yeah, like I was saying, I watched a documentary earlier, and a lot of topics came up that I thought was interesting. So I wanted to run them by you because I'm sure you're knowledgeable in the realm of ska. So the first thing I wanted to say is like Bob Marley. Like, what are you like? Where do you stand on him? Do you like enjoy his music or?
I do enjoy Bob Marley. Yeah, Bob Marley is more reggae than
Mhm.
ska, but still, yeah, I think reggae and stuff's real cool and just good to like feel good. Put on like I like to put on reggae just to relax or chill.
So I guess another question first, like, would what does ska mean to you specifically? Like how does it affect you, and what does it mean for you?
So for me personally, ska is just a genre of music that like makes me happy, like boosts my mood, and really just kind of connects me to like growing up. Um, it's like when I first discovered ska was really like mainly like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but my
Nice.
dad and my mom actually had some ska albums that they didn't know, like modern days. So like my dad had a Mighty Mighty Bosstones. He
Right.
had the Mighty Mighty Boston CD that he would play because the impression that I get, which is probably the only song majority of people have heard from them, was on like Clueless or something. So like he always collected CDs, so he had the Mighty Mighty Boston CD, and then my mom had Tragic Kingdom from No Doubt, which like
Hmm.
also a lot of people don't really know like No Doubt ska roots, but even that album has like a good amount of ska before they transition more into like pop and pop rock and stuff.
So you're kind of introduced to it in like the third wave because that's when you were growing up. Like that's the wave that was happening as you were like adolescent or
For
whatever.
sure.
Did you?
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
assume you went back though, like you like started going down the rabbit hole backwards and things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah, so like well, cause so like normally at least a lot of people probably my age heard ska from like Tony Hawk and stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you really like dive deeper, like do you remember that show Kablam?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Okay. So Kablam, the intro to Kablam is the Toasters. That's more like second
What?
wave. Yeah, yeah. It's called Two
Dude,
Tone Army.
I did
So
not know that. That's
yeah.
crazy.
And so that's like another thing, like subconsciously, like we've heard it, like
Mm,
America's Funniest Home Videos has like a ska
Yeah.
intro too.
right. Even the Angry
Actually, what
Beavers
comes to
too.
mind every time I hear ska is that yeah, yeah, that one from Funniest
uh
Home Videos.
oh yeah,
Uh,
for sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, so for me, it's like childhood stuff, and then if you start diving deeper, then you do get it more into like the first wave traditional ska, like scatolites and stuff like that. But you've probably heard a lot of like first wave ska songs, but they're like redone by more modern bands or something like trad ska and stuff still happens. There's bands like the Slackers, which I mean they're a modern band, but they play more traditional style ska.
you played
Um,
with them, right? You guys like jammed
yeah,
with them.
for sure. Yeah, we opened from. They do a thing like every year in Austin, where they like do 3 days. They always sell out like every day, and they'll do like a different set every day.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, I've been lucky to open. I think the past 3 years on those shows. If they come to San Antonio, we'll try to hop on, but it just depends.
So that comes back to that whole like the scene is very like a band has a name for itself whenever you start like if you invest your time into becoming a ska band, it kind of pays off if you stick with it cuz the community is so close. Like I feel like there's a ska band for like every state, but when there's festivals and shit like that, you see them fucking all on the bill. Like they're all like it's like time to fucking unite, like Voltron style shit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you can say the same for any band. Like if you're in the genre and if you like network properly and if you're just like a good kind of person, I think it
Right.
happens naturally. I've met some people that like wanted to network like for business and stuff, and while that's cool and there's not really anything wrong with that, you can feel uh how like it's not really genuine when you do meet these other people that are like they just like playing music and like they want to network for sure, but it's more about like you're sharing this like interest for ska music and stuff.
They're like, wait a minute, this guy's suit isn't checkered, his tie isn't
Yeah,
checkered. He's a fucking
yeah.
businessman.
Yeah, for sure.
That too, so like with style and fashion, like do you still see a kind of like aesthetic for ska like at shows or anything like that or
Absolutely, yeah. The checkerboard, like it's there at all the ska shows, like to represent like two-tone, really, I believe. So that's like a just a staple. Like you'll see everybody that's go to ska show, there's like that checkerboard kind of deal. I mean, I don't really go where I'm seeing like people in the suits and stuff,
right.
but there's a dude that actually goes to a bunch of shows, and he wears like a checkered board, like that not latex, but that stuff that covers your whole body or whatever, like you know,
Like polyester or whatever the fuck. Like
yeah,
oh,
yeah. He
spandex. It's like a
wears it.
spandex
Yeah,
suit.
he
Yeah.
wears like a whole spandex suit with his face covered on
That's pretty sick actually.
checkerboard.
So
Yeah,
he's
man,
like the ska man. He's like made of fucking checkerboard.
yeah, yeah, and that dude will he'll like travel to bigger shows or whatever to go see, and like I think like Ska's just like for the most part like it's rooted like with serious um with serious stuff, but the third wave really made it kind of silly and funny, and like a lot of people like will cling on to that, whether the music's serious or not, just like having fun. I think there's always like banana suits or like
Right.
people. I think now some people do dress like third wave with their Hawaiian shirts and stuff like because they want to, but some people also dress like because it's ironic, or
Yeah.
uh,
Which I feel like ska has a big like undertone of irony to it because how you said it's super silly in its sound and shit, but like the undertone of what they're talking about, like Streetlight Manifesto, a lot of their music is gritty as fuck if you actually like read the lyrics and like listen to what they're singing about. But the whole time you're just like, fuck you, like you're just
yeah,
skanking around and shit. It's just a good time, which is interesting. Like That's crazy to think about. But two tone, what does that exactly mean? Like, is that like
Um,
the wave or like the?
so the second wave of ska is like called two tone, and that was in the UK mainly. I
Mm.
want to say like in general, like it like two tone and checkerboard and stuff is like black and white, like about unity.
So it's like once
Mhm.
Jamaica immigrated to like England and they like started becoming more of like a yeah, it wasn't as segregated anymore. It was more
Yeah, it was
inclusive.
about unity, like for ska, and so like the second wave is mainly when they refer to like going to England and like uh Madness, stuff like that, how
Yeah.
bands like Madness or so really blew up. Which a lot of people probably heard like that
Our
Our House
house.
song,
Yeah.
which like that one maybe is arguably not ska, but their other stuff they have like actual like trad ska or second wave ska
Right.
uh music, yeah.
Cuz the
I never
specials
listened
too.
to that song.
Dude, yeah, that's like a ska band that made that fucking jam.
Yeah, like made kind of like a new wave
Awesome.
song, yeah. Yeah, specials, you probably heard like Ghost Town like during Halloween or whatever.
Yeah, that song goes hard. Such a good one. But yeah, you can see like how that was the melding of like that almost calypso sounding ska where it was really really traditional in its roots of Jamaica. And then once the Americans are because you know Americans always are like sticking their nose in England and being like what's fucking new over here. And then they started putting like punk to it and making like a fucking ska punk, and I'm sure that's like the third wave of ska or whatever. Like that's the next.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like exactly what you said, the third wave. So that's when like there's bands like Real Big Fish start making it, and like Real Big Fish is like so talented. But they also did like the Pomps and they did the Hawaiian shirt, and
Right.
they kind of brought like the silliness to I guess to ska, and like I mean Sublime also definitely helped make ska popular in the States.
They were way more on the edgy side though, I feel like Sublime was
For
like
sure.
drunk real big fish. Not to say those
Yeah,
guys weren't drinking, but like I don't know, there's an aesthetic to Sublime that I feel like it's more I don't want to say real because they don't harp on the ska as hard as Real Big Fish does. They're like ska to the bone. I feel like.
yeah, Real Big Fish. If you listen to their stuff, they're actually like they're kind of like they get heavy. Their tones like in their records aren't made to be like heavy, but they're like metal. They can shred. They have some like distortion and stuff. It's just like lost with the horns and like the
Mm-hmm.
themes. But if you like go and listen to some Real Big Fish, like they can shred and stuff. Like they're talented, but that's like I I guess it's just not what they're going for. Like they just want to write music, so
Right.
I don't think it was necessarily about shredding or whatever. But I understand like Sublime does have like more themes of like I guess like closer to home or whatever, like emotional stuff. But they also like have some silly stuff too.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like they almost bridge a gap of like I don't even know what to call it because they have their ska moments, but I would not necessarily call Sublime a full on like ska band because they have like
Yeah,
some songs that are like Seed is a ska song, but I wouldn't call like Bad Fish a ska song. I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea.
I think like that Borderlines, like, well, it's just like all the Cali stuff. Like, I think in Borderlines, just reggae, rocksteady, ska, like all of that kind of just Jamaican influence, really, not
Right.
necessarily just ska itself. But they have like Wrong Way is like a straight up ska song. It even
Mm-hmm.
has that little trombone solo and stuff. Which ska doesn't necessarily need horns or whatever, but think that's like one of the Sublime songs that does have that horn. And Badfish is probably more like a reggae,
Right. It's a lot more
still
chill.
influenced. Yeah.
So, with the boss tones too, because like I feel like people write those guys off as a joke a lot of the time too, when they're a super serious band. Like it's the music they write, like that whole album, that Impression That I Get is on, is like banger after banger, dude. Like uh
Yeah.
what is it called? Never Mind Me. That song on there is like literally the whole song is about him getting mugged by some like junkie, and the entire time the song is just speaking positivity. He's like, I don't know why I'm being fucking like hit up by this bum, but I'll be better in the morning. I'm gonna do good tomorrow. Like all this shit. I'm like, dude, fuck yeah. Like that is sick.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is that right now, well, probably I don't know, not just now, but never that dude, the singer, he's like anti-vax, uh, and stuff, and so like a lot of people don't support Boston's anymore when he came out. Not just that, there's
Oh,
more. You have to do your own research, of course. I
Right.
don't know every negative thing this dude has done, but or however you want to take it. A lot of
yeah.
people don't really line up with what he believes in, and so Boston's like I don't know if they're gonna do any stuff because of like the impact that he did. Like he was on Jimmy Kimmel. He was Jimmy Kimmel's like announcer or whatever when the show starts, and they fired him after that stuff.
No
And
shit.
he started in a new band called the Defiant, which people are upset because like it's dudes with people that like I think there's like another anti-vaxxer in it. It's like all these
Mm.
dudes called the Defiant. It's like
They like did it on purpose just to
really?
like ruffle feathers and shit, just to be like, what is like contrarian about it and shit. I had no
Yeah,
idea. That's crazy.
yeah. So it's
Hi,
pretty crazy.
int underscore o underscore
I
live.
mean like I guess you can't really take away like the that record and like those songs or whatever, but you know, if you dig deeper into stuff like that, that's stuff you'll come across and do with that what you will.
No shit. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I guess when it comes to first wave ska, or like ska in general, who would you consider to be like the first ska band, or like the first influence on ska music, I guess?
So I think a lot of people probably go with the Scatolites.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they are probably like the first bigger ska band, just like Desmond Decker. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Scatolites as like the first like bigger influence. And then I'm sure there's like a lot of artists I can't name like off the top, but I mean just in general, like that whole first wave happened from like Jamaica recreating like these R&B songs, like getting these records of like these R&B songs from America or whatever, and then putting their spin. Like I think they had like Mento, Calypso, and stuff,
Mm,
and so just like the combination of their take on this style of music became like what ska is.
right.
Hi.
That's cool.
Gur-
It's interesting because in that little documentary thing I was watching, they were explaining about the first wave and how like they would have essentially DJs like playing records for people to come and dance to or whatever, and they would make their own speakers to like put outside and all around the town and shit, so like everybody could listen to the music and stuff, which is interesting because that's how like it got people so interested in it that they started recording their own records to play that same night. Like they'd be like, "Hey, we're recording a ska song in the booth tonight. Come listen to it on vinyl." Like he and it's just like that community is insane. I thought that was
Yep.
really interesting.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one too. Yeah, those are normally like referred to as sound system.
Mm,
So like, if you just look up sound system, you'll see pictures of like 10 or 20 subs and like all of these tops, and it's just like insane looking like speaker.
Imagine seeing that like firsthand in like a Jamaican like barrio like that, or like just super. But like it's like a poverty stricken place, but they don't care because they're like uplifted by the music, and I thought that was so fucking cool. Like they just the music is the positive force for them, and honestly ska is, I think that's why I have such a soft spot for it, because of that. Like when I first got into it, I was in a really fucked up spot, and I think the first band I had listened to was Streetlight Manifesto, like besides all the like Tony Hawk shit and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Hi,
Streetlight was one of the
Gurrero
first ones that I had heard that I was like, yo, what is this actually? Like, this is like punk, but with like some horns on top of it. And I don't know, I stopped listening to the music that was putting me in this really negative headspace and started listening to a lot of ska bands like Mustard Plug and Skank and Pickle and like all the like old stuff. So it's like whenever it's the whole like if you surround yourself with positivity, then you'll have a positive mindset, and that's kind of what it would just lift me up, because I'm just like, damn, this beat is infectious. The music and whatever they're talking about is like so interesting and stuff. Instead of it being like a whole, it's not as cathartic. It's more of like storytelling, which I think is good and fun. And you can dance to it. It's so fucking rhythmic.
Yeah, true that, man. I mean, yeah, there's ska, there's sad ska or angry ska, like political ska. There's ska for everybody, you know. But yeah, I understand like a lot of the rhythms definitely are more of an upbeat kind of thing. I mean, like for the to be ska in general is like on doing on the on the upbeat, so it's like you already have that like just ingrained in general. Whatever
Right.
they're saying, you have like that rhythm of the guitars, and so it's already gonna be kind of like dancey or just more upbeat.
Almost like polka.
It is, yeah, sort of. It's got like that same element
Yeah,
because it comes from a folk rooted, like it comes from
Hi,
Jamaica.
Honey Duo.
Shit's crazy.
Jamaican folk.
And Jamaican folk. But as far as ska goes today, like what would you consider this like the fourth wave of ska that we're in right now, or is this
it's
still the
like
third?
that's like super debatable because I think the waves were mainly more talking about movements, and so like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a big ska like movement. So maybe it's not like a wave, but there's definitely more active ska bands, younger ska bands, because like all of the popular, I guess, ska bands like from the 90s or whatever, even before, like they've always existed, they've been around. There was never really like newer ska bands that popped up like since then, but I feel like in the last maybe 5 to 10 years, like there's been some newer ska bands that are popping up that are like able to tour
Yeah.
um like build fan bases and stuff. And I think that's mainly due to like record labels like Bad Time Records, Ska Punk International. There's like actual labels now that will help uh get these bands out and like promoted and get them like some PR and stuff like that. So uh yeah, I wouldn't say that we're in a fourth wave, but I would say that we do have like more younger ska
Like
bands that
a
are
revival
active.
kind of the third wave.
Yeah, I guess we could say that. Yeah, it's still
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of ska punk, and I don't know like how much you can change it and call it ska or whatever. So, excuse me.
Hi,
So
still Stin.
yeah, it's still like ska punk, but I think like my band Young Costello, we kind of get heavy. We still have like ska elements and roots, but I wouldn't say we have breakdowns, but we get like pretty chuggy on some stuff, or
Mm,
there's some like screams and things
Yeah.
that happen in certain songs. So it's like, we came from a metalcore background, so we try to bring those elements that we like.
right.
Hey,
Um,
fucking maestra.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, Young Costello. Yeah. So, but
Listen,
there's a lot of bands like that. Yeah, listen to Young Costello
It's
right
like
now.
check him out. Go listen to him right now. Yeah, definitely go check out all of his music. Young Costello is the baby over here. Check him out. But that's another thing that we've had a debate about this thing we like to call post ska, because like how we're saying a
Oh,
revival or whatever. It's kind of more, I feel like, the aftermath of what third wave left behind, and people are picking up those remnants. And they, like how you said, they don't necessarily make their entire band a ska band, but they'll like pepper in those elements of like, hey, well, like RX Bandits was the band that made me like kind of have this revelation or whatever, because
yeah.
I don't, people like, I consider RX Bandits a ska band, and someone was fighting me on that, and I was like, dude, they are ska, like they, I don't know, like they, and then we looked it up, and it even said like in the first thing like ska rock band, whatever, and I was like, so
Yeah,
see, like it's just the element of ska, they pepper it in there, it's like a little bit.
for sure. I think RX Bandits, if I'm not mistaken, actually started like pretty ska, like third wave ska before like that the Apparition album, or I don't know what it's called, but the one with Apparition and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, they were definitely a ska band, and they just decided to experiment with other stuff, and like I don't I don't know, does that make you not ska? It's like for sure debatable. Like
Right, it's like it's
it
a
definitely
gray
has like
area.
yeah, it definitely has like the upstrokes and stuff for certain stuff, and it does get a little weird and ambient and trippy, but like that's cool, like
Right.
shouldn't be any sort of uh guidelines you have to follow, right? It's
No,
like
yeah. I just think it's so interesting because then like even bands like fucking what is it, Bomb the Music Industry, like he's it's ska at its core, but it's very punk too. Like there's, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a third wave sounding artist. Like he sounds
yeah,
very much his own little like bubble of sound. But you can say,
yeah.
like, if someone told me that was a ska band, I wouldn't like sneeze at it. I'd be like, yeah, true, he's got a lot of ska elements.
Well, he has done ska stuff, and he came out with an album. So that's Jeff Rosenstock, Bomb the Music
Yeah.
Industry. He came out with an album called No Dream, and he made a whole ska album called Ska Dream, and it's just No Dream but ska versions
Mm.
of all the songs.
So he went and made them
Uh,
like more ska, like fully sca'd them up.
yeah, so Bomb the Music Industry is like definitely just a melting pot of a bunch of different genres.
Right.
But his his album No Dream, like he just made up a straight up ska version of it. And while I remember it, so like there's not Fourth Wave, but there's a band called Bad Operation from New Orleans, and they kind of coined the term new tone. So not two tone, but new tone.
Mm.
Uh, so it's kind of what like a lot of newer bands are like rolling with. Especially they're a Bad Time Records band, so Bad Time Records just put out like a new tone documentary like with all of their bands. So I think it's available now. So I don't think I've seen it yet, but Bad Operations like a modern ska band coining that new tone term.
New tone. Yeah, I've never even heard
Yeah.
that before. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what the rise of right now is, or like that's like what's going on right
Yeah,
now.
it's a way you can just like categorize it. I think if you go to Spotify and look up like new tone, people have made a few different new tone like playlists with a bunch of modern ska bands. There's like no limit really. Um, my friend Eichler's has like a hyper pop or hyper ska bend. So it's just like taking like the hyper pop elements, but adding ska and it's
That
fun. Like
sounds awesome.
it's really cool, and he's super talented, and he plays like the instruments and sings and produces and makes beats and stuff, and it's like taking all of those elements and putting it. I think he also has like a screamo background too and stuff, so like
That's
add
cool.
some of
All the
that.
best musicians, man. All the best musicians from our generation just started off as metalcore bands.
Yeah, he's from San Francisco, I think, and so like they call it screamo scrams over there.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Scrams is like what you call good screamo. That's like the good
Okay.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not educated in that.
Yes. Scrams is like when you find a band that you want to gatekeep from your friends, that's scrams. Like when you're like, this is my favorite band. That
Hey, no gatekeeping. Right here, over there. No gatekeeping.
Yeah,
um
no gatekeeping.
but you've heard Up Dog. I'm sure fucking Up Dog's played with y'all before.
What's
What's
up,
up,
dog?
dog?
God damn. But that's one of those
Yeah.
bands I guess you could call like they fall in that new tone as well. Like it's like they're like emo and ska at the same time, which I love that sound.
Yeah. Just how do you do it so well? You know, it's so
Right.
good.
It is. It sounds neat. And I feel like there's another band I want to show you actually. Here, let me pull this up.
It's you and Skajects.
Have you heard Folly?
Folly?
Yeah, Folly.
Yeah, they're like a fucking hardcore band, aren't they?
Yeah, but look up Folly, and I think it's like the drummer.
Yeah, he's got like
Yeah.
the fucking that like dodgeball tone on his fucking on his snare.
Please don't shoot the piano player. Look up that song real quick.
Is that band related to Shoot the Girl First?
I love that fucking
That
band.
could be a minus
Ooh.
Yeah.
Shoot the Girl First.
We don't have we don't have to
Oh no.
listen to the whole song, but yeah, check this one
Oh, this sounds like Skajects.
This is on Triple Crown? That's insane.
out. So I guess it's in 2012.
Isn't it crazy how they became a math rock fucking label? This sounds sick as fuck.
I'll show people this and it's like this is a possibility, you know, if you want, if you like you'll see what I mean.
He's like, you'll That's sick. That's so dope.
Oh, yeah.
That's so crazy.
Why
And-
does Scram fit in so well with ska?
I was gonna say a lot of Scrams bands do this type of thing though. Like they'll drop a little like not necessarily this is like straight up ska, you know what I mean? Like they don't necessarily do a straight up ska break like that, but they'll like have a melodic break similar. That's sick sounding though.
I feel like I've heard the Blood Brothers do something similar.
I wouldn't put it past them.
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the only little stop break.
So this is another band. I mean, obviously they're influenced by ska, but they're like super punk sounding at the same time. So I'm like, I guess this is would this be third wave or?
Yeah, it's like third wave.
Let's choose again. Yeah, the song goes hard. They got a bunch of good songs.
That band, that more modern band, The Fright, they have like a ska song.
What is it?
The Fright.
But you said the first ska song you heard was what, like Goldfinger, or which one?
Yeah, I think it was Superman. I mean, you play Goldfinger Superman, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I've heard that song."
It's a good one. It's a classic for a reason, though.
Yeah.
So, who would you say your favorite ska band is?
That's a good one. I really like Goldfinger. Because they're like pretty like pop punk. I really like pop punk. Just in general.
Right.
Um, I don't know. It's a tough one. If I want to say more like ska, like that deals with like trad ska stuff, probably be like the Slackers. They're
Mm,
just any song that they put out, it's like has a good beat, has a good vibe. The bass is always like simple, but it's active. I don't know. It's a lot of good bands. But yeah, I guess if I had to choose, like Goldfinger probably be my favorite, just because of like the importance to me when I heard them, and
right.
in general, like all of their music. They have some like straight up like more like pop punky or punk stuff too, but majority of their stuff is ska, and I like John Feldman like producing too and stuff. So yeah,
See, I've never really done like a super deep dive on Goldfinger. I need to check them out more.
yeah, I would recommend it. They're pretty fun. Um, yeah, I mean I'm looking at the screen. You can see like Streetlight and Catch 22. Like those are also really good bands. A lot of people argue that Streetlight's not ska. Um, I disagree. I think that's ska, but
I don't
uh,
know. What would they consider them? Just a punk band?
so like rock with horns or like I don't know. It's for me at least in Streetlight. You can hear like the influences of other like styles of genres, but you can hear like the ska upstrokes and stuff. So I think that like if I'm gonna label them, I think that they're like ska, but there's also people that feel
Right.
Hi,
otherwise.
Bard 627.
No shit. That's crazy. Like I could see why, honestly, just because they're so like it's different for sure.
Yeah,
But I don't know, I feel like they fit the criteria pretty good. This is one of those bands that was very influential on like
yeah,
what I started jamming with ska. See that I
yeah.
feel like if you can skank to it, then it's ska. Like you're good. Like
So my mom must be ska because she's a fucking gang.
I,
God
I hate you. You apologize to Mama Stin now.
I'm sorry, mom. I love you so much.
damn. Okay. Yeah. And so this is like one like where it's like all happy and upbeat, but it's a dude that killed his family. So it's just like, yeah, I feel really good. And then I read the lyrics, I'm like, all right, I still feel really good, but this dude killed his family.
That's why they're such a good band. Like their storytelling was so good.
Yeah, they came out. So they are also signed to Fat Time Records now. And they came out with an album like 2 years ago, and it was pretty good. It still had the same vibes.
I should jam that. I haven't jammed them in a minute. This is super
Yeah.
nostalgic right now. You got another recommend?
Yeah, put on some Young Costello.
Hell yeah. What song in particular?
So just because of the time we're in, let's look up a one eye open. You can do the video of the song. It's fun. That first one.
This one right here.
Yeah. So this song may or may not be about killing somebody in office.
It's like for legal
Say,
reasons.
Umbrin say 0G has
It's
been banned.
illegal to say I want to kill. No, I'm joking.
Mm-hmm. We actually, a lot of people put the song out whenever we released it, and this one particular place did it because of the message. They're like, we don't condone killing people. And we're like, nah.
There's Jacob.
All right.
I mean, if the person's right, definitely.
that's up to you, you know.
Yeah, you said that, Holly, not her.
There he goes. There's Skaxdad himself in action. The whole cavalcade. Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's at the Starlighter.
That's sick.
So Nick, our drummer, also plays in Lost Project and Skajects.
Yeah.
He plays bass in Acting Cold. He's a really good bass player.
Dude, his hair is so on point.
Right? I feel like I should have like shaved and gotten a haircut before this, but
No, you look dapper as hell too.
thanks, bro. That's John Michael. John Michael, UFC, and then he also plays in Acting Cold, Bear Brass. A lot of those dudes, they're all like went to school for their instrument or horn section.
That's so fucking funny. How that works. Like, it's usually like a bunch of punks, and they're like, hey, let's make friends with some band nerds, and we'll just have them join the band.
Yeah, so Philip, the dude in the strike, he probably composes most of the lines, and he's like super streetlight fan, and that's why you can hear like our horns are pretty
Thanks for
difficult
the resub. Joey
in
Burr.
terms of like the lines and the arrangements.
Yeah, y'all have a big streetlight sound, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Thanks. I think we filled the gap for a lot of people with their streetlight not coming out with new music and stuff.
Yo, that red and black striped shirt is fucking great.
Yeah. After we released this, like the shows afterwards, he would start just like wearing it, like that was his thing.
I love it.
Yeah. That trumpet player, I think he like is it the Blue Devils or whatever, like that famously known horn section or whatever.
Oh shit.
And yeah, I think he's like the teacher there now.
So he's like an acclaimed trumpet player.
Yeah, he's really good, and like, unfortunately, like I talk to John Michael and Nick more, but I don't really talk to anyone. We don't really jam. We haven't booked anything, so like, we're still here. We have stuff to record, but that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, just getting everybody together is kind of tough.
Yeah, and John had a kid, and, which like is awesome. He's a great dad. It's just for us, like my job, his kid, like everybody's just. It's just harder now to get together, especially when there's like 6 or 7 people in the band.
Yeah.
When the time comes, it'll come.
For sure, yeah.
It sounds sick as fuck, though.
Thanks. Yeah, this is one of the more street lighty ones. Excuse me. I guess after this, we can do like Holy Shnikes. We do a bunch of covers on Holy Shnikes, so there's like a bunch of funny stuff on that one.
How many albums do you have with young Costello?
We only have one EP. Which like, well, it's laugh because our EP had 4 songs and it's 20 minutes. and our friends in Hans Gruber and the Diehards have a full album, and it's 20 minutes.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that still be considered an E EP?
I guess by like pressing standards, right? But I think they have like 10 or like 12 songs or something.
That's insane.
They're like a straight up like they're or I wouldn't. I mean, I guess it's third way, but they're like punk ska, just like fast. They're really good too. So Hans Gruber and the Diehards, if you're looking for new music, they're a great band.
Are they from Austin?
Yeah, they're from Austin.
So is the Texas like ska scene pretty like it's going right now, or how is the state of the scene?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think from Texas, the most successful band, which is arguable, right? But the band that's touring the most and probably getting the most shows is most likely Hans Gruber and the Diehards.
Mm-hmm.
In San Antonio, we have like local legends like uh man, their name just slipped my head. I just did sound from a raw room. Spies Like Us. Spies Like Us from San Antonio is probably the biggest ska band from here. The Toasters, which originally are from New York, main dude lives in Texas now, Bucket. So technically, the Toasters are from Texas, but I think they still like build themselves from New
I
York.
was about to say I've seen their name on a bunch of like bills out here.
Yeah, yeah, that they're the ones that did that glam intro.
That's crazy, dude.
Um, yeah, there's a band called Flip in the combined effort, which like Flip's like a teacher, and he's the nicest dude ever, and he raps over ska, but like I don't know, you have to hear it. Flip the combined effort. Los Curados, they do like Spanish ska. They're also from Austin with a couple of the people from Hans Gruber.
Oh,
So there's
fucking. What is that Scagalero's been to? The fucking
yeah, they're not a band anymore. I
rip.
think they broke up last year or maybe the year before.
They're pretty
But they
good
just
too.
posted that they're like creating another band. I forgot what they're called right now. But they are gonna have another band with a majority of those members. Um, Up Dog, you know, Cool Under Fires and like kind of rock steady ska. So we have a good group. I guess they're not really just the only actively touring band from Texas that I could think of right now is Hans Gruber.
Right. And from what I understand, I think the guitarist from Updog just recently joined Hans Gruber. Uh,
That's crazy.
what's her name? Fish or something like that. Yeah, because
The old guitarist
no, I think it's the
or
guitarist currently.
oh Tuna?
Tuna. I said fish.
I think they were like touring together for a little bit, but
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, I think that's what Cody had said.
That's insane.
Hell yeah, that's cool. Yeah, young Costello sounding sick. Y'all got any new music? You said y'all have music, you just gotta like get everything.
Yeah, we have like another EP basically. It's well, we have a couple songs like this, like Street Lighty, and then we have like a straight up like pop punk, like almost like neck deep Day to Remember style song.
No shit.
Uh, yeah,
The neck deep, you say?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
real pop punk. I'll send you the link to that one.
I was about to say,
alright.
is it up online or do you already have
No,
it?
no, no. We have just a demo, but
Nice.
yeah, we just need to go to the studio. Honestly, so we'll see when that happens. We're also just kind of letting it organically happen,
Yeah.
because of necessity, and also like we just want to make sure that it it's what we want. We don't want to push anything out.
Right, y'all want to make sure, yeah, keeping it organic is probably the best way to do it,
Yeah.
especially
At
at
the
that
same
volume.
Yeah, at the same time, like again, we're just older now, with kids and like jobs, so the possibilities of us touring and stuff, it's like there's not a rush to do anything, uh, because we don't know what that looks like. Like, are we just gonna release it and it's gonna just be out? Or are we gonna like tour from it? Or are we gonna do stuff? We don't really know, the plan right now.
Hmm. Well, hopefully the future has more young Costello and y'all are able to hit the studio. That sounds sick.
Yeah, for sure.
Really enjoy the sound.
What if I was new to ska? What would be the first album that you think I should check out?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, album? Um,
Cover to cover.
that's a good one. I'd say so I'll just go with my first album because that was Suicide Machines, Imagine Some Gasoline. Doesn't have all the super popular Suicide Machine songs, but it's like super punk and super ska and super good. That one or Out Come the Wolves from Rancid uh would be another one. Actually, I'll say Out Come the Wolves from Rancid. If you want to like listen, it has like third wave ska. It has like kind of all types of ska. It's like catchy. Matt Freeman's bass player is insane. Yeah, Out Come the Wolves.
But yeah, again, y'all guys go show Jacob some love. He be doing sound. He be making music. He be bass boy. He's based.
Yeah, bass.
Based.
Go listen to some fucking ska music. Go listen to Young Costello. Go listen to Skajects.
Yeah, that Rancid album.
Yeah, check out that Rancid album. Check out, listen to Scott. Listen to Catbite or Flying Raccoon Suit. Kill Lincoln. We Are the Union.
Hell yeah.
All Hans Gruber and the Diehards. Just listen to you ska. Show the new band some love. You know, the other bands that exist other than the '90s ska bands.
True.
Yeah, support your local ska bands as well.
True
Yeah,
that.
support local ska. Support your local venues. The Starlighter.
Hell yeah.
And Double Dog Dare Productions.
And then put two fingers down your throat.
All
Fuck.
right, I mean, try it.